Hello, hello, we are live. Welcome to Cooking with Chef Frank, and my name is Frank Kramer. I'm your host today. I'm the founder of Eat Like a Vegan Chef, and today I'm going to be cooking a vegan lasagna. Okay, so today is actually kind of a special day. It's number 10 in Cooking with Chef Frank. So I'm really happy about that, and I hope you like my cooking style, and what I do is I help people struggling with weight or struggling with bad eating habits or unhealthy eating habits to transition to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. That's what I do. I love to help people, and I cook a whole food plant-based diet, so to speak. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, but it's oil-free, low calorie, and high in nutrients. So it's something for everyone. It's for athletes, it's for regular people, it's a little bit for everyone. Okay, let's get going. Before I forget, if you join us, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from so I can see you're here. And that's just nicer to see who's there. Okay, let's get going. So this vegan lasagna, I'm going to do all the steps. So I haven't pre-cooked too much. I'm going to make a bolognese from scratch. I'm going to make a marinara from scratch. I'm going to make the the ricotta from scratch, which in this case, it's a spinach ricotta, so to speak. And I'm going to have a cheese sauce. I promise I'm going to make a cheese sauce. And of course, I have some vegan Parmesan. Okay, so let's get to it. And if you have any questions, please feel free, put them in the comments. And I will try to answer them as soon as I see them. And I hope you enjoyed this today. Let me see who's here today. Hi, Mary. Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see who's here. Okay, right. Good. Okay, so I'm going to start with the marinara sauce because the marinara sauce needs to cook. There's a marinara sauce is a very simple tomato sauce, Italian tomato sauce. It can be as simple as cooking it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But very often, especially in restaurants, we cook it for quite a long time just to get all the flavors out there. The longer you cook it, the more sweeter it gets. That's just a secret. Okay, good. Let's get going. First, I'm going to add my garlic into the pan. And as you know, I do cook without oil. So I use water instead. It's sometimes it's a little tricky, but it's very simple. So for instance, you see this is a stainless steel pan. It's not a non-stick pan. And you hear it sizzling. So I'm let it sizzle a little bit. I don't want to let it brown. I just want to make sure we get enough heat here. And now I'll add just a little bit of water to it. Crank up the heat. And let the water reduce to almost nothing. So that will assure that I cook the garlic on the bottom of the pan so we can create the flavor, what we need in the marinara sauce. And so there's quite a few variations. Some people put oregano in and basil right from the get-go, right with the garlic, which is great, tastes good. In this case, I don't do any of that because I'm going to cook my bolognese, and later I'm going to combine the two sauces. My bolognese is going to be with oregano and basil, so that's why I'm not going to put anything in here. I just want to have the pure tomato flavor coming out of the marinara sauce. And in this case, I used Here again is an organic crushed fire roasted tomatoes. I prefer this because fire roasted is it just tastes so much better. Organic tomatoes, I don't want any pesticides in my food because you know why it's not healthy. And if you go with Italian tomatoes, that's great too. I would suggest you go with that. But again, I prefer these here. They're just organic. Okay, so now that the water is evaporated, I'm going to add the tomato sauce, not tomato sauce, the crushed tomatoes in here. I'm going to use, I had 6 cloves of garlic and 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. They're 28 ounce piece. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to get the rest out of my tomato cans here. Add into it. I'm going to reduce the heat to medium to low. It is also very important that you don't want to cook it to a marinara sauce or tomato sauce in general. You don't want to cook it in a very deep pot. I know we do this in restaurants, but we have a technique how we do this so it doesn't burn on the bottom. But tomato sauce needs to be cooked on a steady heat, low to medium heat, but it needs to be cooked for a while so you can create the flavor profile in there. But tomato sauce likes to burn. And that's why it's very important that you stir it here and there, but also cook it in a flat pot. Not flat, but not too deep. Okay, so this is going to simmer. In the meanwhile, I'm going to do the bolognese. The heat is on. Obviously, that's a vegan bolognese. We want to create the same kind of flavor what we have in a real bolognese with beef. No, we don't want the beef, and but we want something, tasty. So don't get me wrong if I say I want the beef. I do not want the beef flavor, but I want something tasty. So that's why it's very important that when we use or when we're trying to cook something what is similar to a beef sauce or pork or whatever it is, then we have to make sure that we use the same sort of size of ingredients. For instance, this is tempeh. I grated it, and if you see it this way, there's a lot of imagination. This is like ground. So, and then we have mushrooms. The two of them bring a really great flavor together. And later on, I'm going to add some yeast, some nutritional yeast to it, and that will intensify the flavor. So this is how I cook my bolognese. And of course, we have our traditional vegetables, carrots, and celery, which we add to it. Garlic, of course, salt and pepper, and oregano. So that's how I cook my vegan bolognese. There are many, many varieties how you cook your vegan bolognese. It's really up to you. For me personally, I try to completely get away with any kind of cooking that is similar to animal cooking. Cooking like recipes that include meat. So I try to get away from that because I cook a whole food plant-based diet. The reason why we are cooking this here is because we are so accustomed to the meat sources that we want to have something similar but healthy. And that's fine. But I think it is also very, very important just to cook something what is healthy, what doesn't remind us of meat. So from this point of view, it's very, very important to me. I cook this because I got quite a few requests to make a lasagna. I cook my lasagna in very, very different styles. You will see this is one style. I probably have 10 different styles of making a lasagna, but this is the way I do it today. Okay, so I'm going to saute onions first. About a cup of onions. And again, I have my water ready. Vegetable broth is just fine. You see the sauce is simmering really, really slowly. Notch. Okay. Let's see who came by. Okay. Hi, Justin. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Hi, Adriana. Thank you for coming. Hi, Stefan. Nice to see you here. How's Germany? Very good. Okay. Add a little bit of water to it. So now I have my onion. This is called the bolognese. So I'm going to add my garlic to the onions, and then I'm going to add my mushrooms. I don't know if you all saw it. I have mushrooms, which are very, very small chopped. And what I want to do is I want to saute them as crispy as possible or brown as possible. But I want to make sure it's nice and brown and gives us a lot of flavor. So while this is cooking, by the way, I already have cooked my lasagna. I'm using whole wheat lasagna sheets. I did it already because it would have been too much. We need some power here. Okay. This is really strange. My Instagram doesn't work. My video, the live chat, very strange. No, what can we do? Okay. Sorry about that. Just gonna tape it this way. Again, for those who came late, I'm going to cook a vegan lasagna today. I'm going to cook everything separate. I'm going to have my marinara sauce. I have my bolognese sauce. I'm going to have the cheese sauce, which I'm going to cook. I'm going to have vegan Parmesan cheese. And I have, what else I have? My cheese sauce. Yeah, that's it. By the way, I don't know if you heard already me saying in the beginning, today is Cooking with Chef Frank number 10. Isn't it amazing how fast time flies? Just amazing. I just hope that you enjoy Cooking with Chef Frank, and if you have any kind of dishes you would like me to cook, please put them in the comment box. Let me know, and I'll be happy to cook them whenever I have the time. Or if you have any questions about food in general, I'll be happy to answer those. Okay, so these mushrooms, we need to make sure that they come out as crispy and brown as possible. So I have to make sure that they don't burn because I don't use oil. So as you can see, every time, can you see? Not really. You see here, it's starting to turn brown. So this is what I'm trying to do. Let it brown a little, but before it burns, I add a little water to it. So I'm going to do this until all the mushrooms are nice and brown. My tomato sauce is cooking. And in a minute, I will do my ricotta. This is what I forgot, my ricotta. That's what it is, vegan ricotta. I'm going to make this with tofu, silk tofu, and spinach. I just like to, the color, green and white mixed together. It's nice. Okay. So now I'm going to add my oregano. I'm going to have about 1 tablespoon of oregano. So now you see how brown it gets. Can you see? It almost looks like it's burning, but it's not. So as soon as I add the water to it, it's all going to disappear. See here? The pan is clean again. So I just have to repeat this step a few times until everything is the mushrooms are nice and brown. And then I'm going to add my tempeh. Once my tempeh is nice and brown, I'm going to add the carrots and celery. Okay. Okay, let's add the tempeh. This is my tempeh. I don't know if everyone saw it in the beginning. Grated tempeh. Tempeh is a soy product, so if you cannot eat soy or don't want to eat soy, you don't have to put it in. It's just more protein. So because in a regular lasagna, you have a lot of protein because of the meat. So I put tempeh in. That gives us quite a lot of protein in it. Okay. And keep in mind, the more you saute these vegetables, you reduce them, you add water to it, you reduce, the more flavor you get in it. For instance, when we cook our demi-glace in the restaurant, yes, that's made with veal bones, but that's just an example. We cook this for 2 days. So that's how you get the flavor. You can do the same with the vegetable stock. You can do a mushroom stock, for instance. If you cook the mushrooms long enough, you get a very, very strong mushroom flavor. We can do the same with all the vegetables. Carrots, celery, onions, garlic, bay leaf. Finally, there's so many beautiful vegetables you can use. You cook them, and the longer you cook them, the better the flavor is. And obviously, you have a lot of vitamins in there. That said, you don't want to overcook it, meaning too high. You want to simmer it so that you maintain the nutrients. Okay, so now I'm going to add my celery. About a quarter cup of chopped carrots, quarter cup of diced celery. Mix it all up. Just a little bit of water. You see, this is very similar to a bolognese. When just imagine this is beef, then this is your base of your bolognese, and then I would put in tomato paste. But in this case, I don't put tomato paste in because I have my fresh tomato sauce here, so I don't have to cook a bolognese from scratch. A bolognese is a very intense sauce with a lot of flavors. It takes 3-4 hours to make a bolognese to make it really taste great. So in this case, we would put in the tomato paste and we glaze it with red wine, for instance, and then fill it up with either vegetable broth and let it cook, reduce it, fill it up with vegetable broth again until we get the flavor. So in this case, I'm just going to use my tomato sauce here. Okay. Inside. A little bit of salt for tomato sauce. Again, if you cook without salt, forget about it. I usually don't cook with a lot, just a little bit, just so you get a little flavor. Here they are. I like to add a few crushed pepper flakes in the tomato sauce. Not much, just a little bit, just to give it a little kick. Let's taste this. No sugar in here. I kid you not, no sugar. This sauce tastes sweet. That's because, in my opinion, these are organic tomatoes. Oh, beautiful. I didn't put anything in here. It's just garlic and the tomatoes. Add a little bit of salt and crushed pepper. That's it. Absolutely awesome. This is the sauce right there. Now I'm going to add this to my bolognese and let that simmer on low temperature. I don't want it too liquid, but I think we can put a all in. So, that's what the recipe says. Good. We want to let this simmer for as long as we can. Okay. Now I'm going to do my ricotta. Questions? Okay. Hi, Gail. Thanks for coming. Hi, Annie. Thanks for stopping by. Is it true that the longer the vegetable cook, they lost their vitamins? Yeah, if you cook them like old laundry, so to speak, if you cook them really, really hard, yes, it's true. The longer you cook something, the more you lose. But um, in in holistic cooking, for instance, we do a vegetable broth. We call it a bone broth. Um, we only put carrots, celery, leek, onions in there, and we let it simmer for on very low temperature for 4 hours. Reduce it, and the nutrients are not killed by that. So if you cook it on really high temperature, yes, you're going to kill it. But again, for instance, kale is one of the most nutrient vegetables on earth. You can cook kale, for half an hour, for an hour, like we do it in the south. Those dishes taste absolutely awesome, and they still have the nutrients. It's scientifically proven that kale keeps its nutrients even after half an hour of cooking. So, but I think we want to refrain from cooking high temperatures. Okay. Good. So you see this almost looks like bolognese, right? So it's very simple. And again, there's in many countries we cook our sauces and soups for hours. Like in Germany, we are famous for our soups. When it comes to lentil soup, green pea soup, potato soup, leek soup. There's so many soups, and we cook them for a good half an hour, sometimes even an hour. And those big pots, like green pea soup, we cook them for an hour and a half or two sometimes, and there's still nutrients in there. So I think it's the secret is in cooking it on low temperature. So I would say low to medium high. And good question, Stefan. Okay, let's do the ricotta. You see, I have this water in here. You see it here. This is ricotta, tofu, silk tofu, and spinach, which I cooked earlier. We want to get rid of this water here. That water is from the tofu. I'm not a fan of throwing away any liquid. I usually, if I have a sauce, if I wouldn't be cooking now, or if I wouldn't be cooking for you, I would use this liquid and put it in my sauce somewhere because these are vitamins. But since ricotta cannot be liquid, I just have to drain the liquid. But for you to know, if you have any kind of liquid, like you need the spinach dry, you cooked it, by squeezing out the juice, you're throwing out the vitamins. So that's why I'm saying, if you do that for any type of recipes, hold on to the juice. Just put it in any kind of sauce or oil. So at least you utilize the vitamins. Okay, we're going to put the tofu in here. This is exactly 1 pound. And 10 ounces of spinach, baby spinach, organic baby spinach. Okay. I'm going to add a teaspoon of nutritional yeast. I'm using a lot of nutritional yeast already in those dishes here, so I don't want to overuse it. I'd like to make it as creamy as possible. If I had a Vitamix, which I have at work, this would be completely green with no dots in here. A Vitamix, a mixer is absolutely, totally outstanding. This is good too, but it's not as powerful. The Vitamix is one of the most powerful mixers out there, and it's absolutely perfect for those applications. See, it's a little bit on a thin side, but I didn't want, but it's okay. This is my my spinach ricotta. I'll set this aside. And then after this, I will start with my cheese sauce. Apologize for the delay here. Okay. I'm going to cook my cheese sauce in this little blender here. So for those of you who maybe don't know how to cook a vegan cheese sauce, there's so many applications. You can use, I used sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. I cooked them already, and I kept the juice where it was cooked in, very important. And I'm going to add these two in my blender with all the seasonings, and then that's basically it. You can make a cheese sauce from butternut squash, from cauliflower, anything what is similar to what has the color of a cheese sauce. You could utilize. If potatoes are white, you could use and carrots, for instance, looks perfect. Just to give it a little orange color, like really, if you in general, cheese is white. We all know that, but because the industry puts the yellow color in there, it's cheese is always yellow, and for some reason it looks better when it's yellow. But in our case, I'm going to add sweet potatoes, and I'm going to add a little tamarind, which gives it a little bit more orange color. Okay, let's get started. Now you're wondering, why does the cheese sauce taste cheesy when I use potatoes? That is the trick here. Okay, usually you would cook this sauce with the addition of cashews, cooked cashews or soaked cashews, just to give it this funny flavor what a cheese sauce has. But in this case, this is a fat-free cheese sauce, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Add it right in here. When you smell it, nutritional yeast, almost smells like cheese. It's incredible. I usually put in white beans, but I have to be honest, I thought I had white beans, but I didn't. Bad boy. I have never did it with garbanzo beans. So let's see how it works out. But I just in case I need this little extra creaminess there, I'll add that. Okay, good. Half a teaspoon of paprika. 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. And of course, our turmeric, 1 teaspoon turmeric. And we add the juice. I'm only going to add a little bit to it. I had 1 cup. I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup. I don't want to make it too thin. That's a little bit more. I have some more white potatoes here. I utilize these live cooking to tweak my recipes. So forgive me if one of the recipes don't work out right away. This is because I'm tweaking them as we speak. I don't like to use recipes given to me, or I don't like to use recipes. Period. I like to put my own twist to it. So I guess you have realized this already. And still a little too. So in this case, this cheese is perfect for your tacos. Our bolognese looks like it's almost ready. Nice. Okay, so let's see how the cheese sauce tastes. This is live cooking, no? Oh yeah. All this cheese on the sauce, on the floor. Sorry about that. Oh, thick. Oh my goodness, my soul is falling. Can you believe it? No. Okay, here's what it is. Okay, cheese sauce. You see? You see? It's a little bit too yellow. So if you don't want it as yellow, you just skip the turmeric. But it's yeah, it tastes. It needs a little bit of salt, but other than that, very good. I'm gonna put in. Okay. Wow, what a mess. Hi, Kathleen. Yes, Vitamix blender, absolutely. Hi, Gail. Did I say Gail already? Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's get started. We have our Parmesan cheese to make. Okay. Let's get this bad boy here. And the Parmesan cheese, the vegan cheese, it's it's very simple, very very simple. We have cashews. I have cheese with everywhere. We have about half a cup of cashews, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I think it's a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. And we just grind it up, just so that it gets a little crumbly. Crumbs. See? Almost looks like Parmesan. Let's see how it tastes. A little bit more salt. Other than that, it's perfect. This is done. Our bolognese is done. This is our bolognese here. Again, we could cook it for hours. In this case, obviously I have to use it now. Let's taste it. It really should be cooking a little longer, but just a little bit of salt. Good. So now we have our spinach ricotta, vegan ricotta. We have our Parmesan cheese. We do have our cheese sauce, whatever is left over here. Our bolognese. And that's it. That's it. Okay. I have I'm going to use this glass bowl here. Okay. What I do first is I'm going to add tomato sauce for the bolognese first. We always want to have the sauce first before we put pasta down. That's just simply so that the pasta doesn't stick on the pan, bottom pan. Just a little bit, so just so that we have a little bit on the bottom of the pan. Okay. Can you see? This is my lasagna. This is whole wheat lasagna, not your regular. Going to add the vegan ricotta here. Some more bolognese. A little of the Parmesan. And the cheese sauce. A little bit. Next layer. So obviously, if you can put all kind of vegetables in between here. You can put eggplant, zucchini, sauteed spinach. The sky's the limit. So there's you can add any kind of vegetables. You just have to cook them first, saute them or steam them the way you like them, season them, and then put them in between the layers. I didn't do this. I just wanted to do an authentic vegan bolognese lasagna sort of. Parmesan again. No. Color. Going to add a little bit. I just season it a little bit more. But I think I don't have enough salt in there. Good. Another layer of lasagna. Okay. So this is going to be our last layer. This time I'm going to put ricotta first. Okay. Instead of the spinach putting in the tofu here, you can obviously just lay it out on top of the pasta here. Bolognese. Make sure everywhere is enough sauce. I'm going to add my cheese sauce. I want to make sure I see a little bit of the red here. So I don't want to cover it all in the same color. I want to make sure you can see Parmesan. And that's it. Okay. That's my lasagna. Very simple. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in the oven. I let it cook for about 30 minutes or until I see it starting to bubble. That's how long I'm going to cook it. That's it. That's when it's done. I can serve it. And that's it. So that's my vegan lasagna. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Do you have any questions? Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any questions or so? I'll be happy to answer any. Yeah, all it's on. This is going to cook for another half an hour. By the way, I will start another challenge probably in about 2 weeks. That's it's going to be an intense, sort of not intense, but it's a challenge for anyone who wants to transition to a whole food plant-based diet. And obviously, that's not for our members. That's for anyone who wants to go through a week's crash course, so to speak. I'm going to do this in about 2 weeks. I'll let you know if you're interested. I'll give you some details, but I also will let you know when we start the challenge. Yeah, so if you don't have any other questions, then I would say thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. If you like to learn more, you can go to eatlikeaveganchef.com. Learn more about what I do, where I have been, what I've cooked, with whom I've cooked and stuff. So you can check out my blog and maybe my about section to learn more about me. Okay, so I don't have any more. I truly appreciate that you came today, and I'll see you next week, Thursday, 1 o'clock. Thanks for stopping by, and see you then. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany.